Saw this tweet about Jack Black once, and it was like, someone had said, Jack Black is the only celebrity that needs zero context. Like,
Yeah.
I could be abducted by aliens and being probed, and Jack Black could walk by in an Ace Ventura bathrobe singing Black Sabbath, and I'd just be like, yep, that's just Jack Black doing his thing. And it's like, and I'm like, yeah, that's very true.
Hello, everyone, and
Yes.
welcome back to the Average Film Enjoyer podcast. We're your average film enjoyers, Jagger and Trey, and we are joined today by Evan. How are you doing today?
I'm
Both of
phenomenal. Well, I'm doing really good, except for some of the things I've seen on your Letterboxd profile.
Yeah.
Like I just saw Dial of Destiny at a 3.5, and I want to go run to the vomit. Like,
oh, what do you have, Dial of Destiny?
I didn't even finish it. It's a terrible movie.
Well, did you see it in the theater, or did you watch
No,
it at home?
I watched it at home.
Oh, well, that's
Okay.
why.
So I think I might have a little bit of theater bias because there's definitely parts about that that I definitely enjoyed. Like the first 20 minutes that happens in the past, I loved that because that truly felt like Indiana Jones to me. And then there's a few sequences in the rest of the movie that I liked. I fucking hated the fact that they went back to ancient Greece or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I hated that. I thought that was so dumb. But I also really liked Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I thought she did an excellent job, and I would love to see more Indiana Jones movies with her. But it is also the lowest rated Indiana Jones
Yeah.
movie. I think I have it at a 2.5. But it wasn't terrible.
Okay.
But it wasn't good either.
I don't mean to interrupt, but we need to touch on this.
No,
movie
go
43 at a 2.5 stars is insane.
It's not
Possibly
that
the worst movie ever made.
bad. Absolutely.
Oh, man,
not.
it's no 365 days.
Dude, it's bad. It's really bad.
We don't even need to go into that one, Trey. That's its own
Yeah.
beast.
Well, that episode, if we did that, we'd be like, hello, welcome to the Average Porn Enjoyer, where we're talking about a movie that is essentially porn. That's what that episode would be called.
Let's never do that intro ever.
Yeah, we're happy to be here today. Obviously, we have Evan back, who I had on to sub in for Jagger last Tuesday, where we talked about Killer's Kiss, Rush, and Fear and Desire. And it was a blast. And the movie we're talking about today is from one of Evan's all-time favorite trilogies. Possibly
The favorite trilogy.
His all-time favorite trilogy. So we decided to have him back on today because I had a blast with him on Tuesday, and just the more the merrier, you know? But first, this is like, we don't have a time limit on our recording today, so we're going to do all of your guys' favorite bits that we're going to do. We're going to do some movie news, some 2023 releases, our review, and then we are going to do what we've been watching recently. Let's get into some movie news. First of all, we got Oscar Shortlists this past week. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look over those at all. Obviously, the Oscar race has begun, watching all the movies for the Oscars.
I looked at them, but I forget, so I'm pulling them back up.
Yeah. There are a few on here where I am kind of like, why is this not on here? Or why is this on here, but this isn't on here? Specifically for visual effects. The Oppenheimer is not on the short list for visual effects, which I find very odd, just because of how, like, Jagger, I know you're not the biggest fan of that one, but I just, like...
I enjoy it.
Visually, that movie is unbelievable.
Yes.
So that was definitely, it came to a surprise to me. There are ones on here that I would love to see win visual effects. I think Godzilla -1 could win VFX.
Godzilla was really, really good looking, except, and I don't know if you listened to the Film Scoop, but Cash brought this up.
Yeah.
Godzilla's eyes never move and he never blinks.
Yeah,
That is the
I
only
heard him talk
moment
about that.
because it makes it seem a little cartoony, but the effects on all of his attacks, the violence, everything was so well done, especially for how low the budget is.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
The goal of the movie is to sort of bring back classic Godzilla. And if you look back at the original Godzilla, even though he does blink, it does feel sort of cartoony. So if you want to defend that movie, you could say that it's sort of the goal to revoke that classic, or to invoke the classic Godzilla feel. But when it comes to visual effects, I don't see anything taking it away from Poor Things.
Yeah. Another one I wanted to touch on, well, sound. Personally, I think Oppenheimer should win that.
I haven't seen Ferrari yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only one that I could really see.
And The Killer had phenomenal sound design in that last fight
true.
scene in the house.
Yeah.
The sound design was out of this world there. Really, really good.
Zone of Interest, you could bring up.
Still not out here yet.
That's definitely winning international feature film.
It is winning international feature for sure.
100%.
But for a movie that is very reliant on scaring you with its sound and just the sound of like what's going on in the camps and the guilt that it's supposed to give in World War II, just with people screaming and crying, that could win. It could also go to Napoleon. I mean, it's not out of the range of possibility with a lot of the war scenes. So it could go to a lot of things there.
Yeah.
I hope Napoleon doesn't win.
Yeah, I hope.
That movie sucks.
But yeah, I mean, even Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, I could see winning.
Yeah.
Let's see. Visual effects. This is one that did we already talk about this? Oh,
Yes,
yeah, another one I
just
wanted
touched
to
on
touch on. And the movie that is essentially a lock, I think, for best animated film, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. One of the most visual, stunning movies to come out of this decade, maybe this century. I mean, obviously it's going to win best animated feature because it's a masterpiece, but I just hope it wins visual effects.
What else would win? If anything else were to win.
Suzumi could win. Well, no, Suzumi isn't even. Oh, if you mean for animated feature?
For animated, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You know, I honestly could see, if it's nominated, I could see Suzumi maybe taking it over, but then you got to take into account the fact that it's a foreign film, which makes it less accessible to the general public.
Yeah.
And that's usually a fact they take in. And Across the Spider-Verse might have been one of the most popular movies this year.
Right.
And
here's a little hot take. I think for animated feature film, I think that Suzumi and Boy and the Heron are the two front runners. I genuinely do, because Boy and the Heron was supposed to be Miyazaki's final movie, this big culmination of his efforts and his final masterpiece. I know that's not true now, and he's still planning to make more movies, but
yeah, I
think Boy and the Heron has some legs that it could go for it.
Yeah. I don't know.
What about score?
Score?
Quickly.
If Oppenheimer doesn't win for best score, I'm gonna go on a
Oppenheimer
I'm going
should
on
be
strike.
a lock. Yeah.
Trey, you still haven't seen Poor Things. The Poor Things score,
Yes.
just
and
listening to it is that movie.
It's really good, but it's not as good as Ludwig's cooking.
Yeah. Ludwig. And no, you said... Well, no, first I said, like, everybody was talking about how the Killer's score was so good. And I said, like, it's nothing impressive. It was just a guitar going, wow, bow, 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 like the entire movie. And then you said, and I quote, oh, but it's not, can you hear the music?
Because the entire...
In that tone.
Because the entirety of Oppenheimer was just, can you hear the music in multiple iterations?
That's not true. That
That is not true.
That is not
You
true.
need to
chunk
go listen to the album, the score, top
Alright.
to bottom.
That's crazy.
And it's so damn good.
Trinity song is 9 minutes long, and it kicks in the moment, and it builds for like 6 of those minutes, and it's this crazy crescendo, and it's just so fucking
Dude.
perfect, and it ends in this cerebral soundscape that is just so perfect. Like, I love Poor Things. It's my favorite movie of the year. Oppenheimer is taking this 100%.
Yeah, it should. It should.
It absolutely should.
Ludwig Göransson absolutely cooked
Yeah.
here. And usually Nolan obviously goes with Hans Zimmer. That's who's done a lot of Nolan movies. I think the only one Ludwig Göransson has done is Tenet. Exactly.
He was doing Dune.
But Hans Zimmer has done the rest of them, and I'm glad he didn't go with Hans Zimmer here. Because every single Nolan Hans Zimmer score sounds the same. And you can tell it by the trailer of a Nolan movie, where it's like this huge spanning shot over this vast either like city or field, and then Hans Zimmer's score comes in and it's just like boom.
It's still amazing.
Boom. And you're just like, come on. It's
Cornfield Chase goes crazy though.
That is true. So I think Oppenheimer is definitely a lock for that.
All right.
Um,
Wait, is question
yeah.
on the score shortlist? Is Anatomy of a Fall there?
No.
No.
Really?
I'm watching that tonight, actually.
Anatomy of a Fall had the smartest score I've ever seen. Because there's no music for most of the movie, and when they do have score, it's scored by the main kid playing the piano.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought that was a really interesting choice. And the fact that it's not on there hurts. And the fact that Saltburn is on there also hurts. And as a Saltburn defender, it should not be there.
I think Past Lives got robbed in this category. Past Lives has a beautiful score. It's really, really good.
I can't say too much about that because I haven't seen Past Lives yet. But
I don't even remember the Past Lives score.
Let's see. I mean, we got in other news, we finally get to say goodbye to the absolute shit show that was the DCEU with the release of Aquaman 2 this week. I mean, I'm so glad. I think there was definitely some shining moments in that universe, but a lot of it, the majority of it, was terrible.
Snyder carried it.
Yeah. So glad that is over. Also, this week where was the headline? I can't even remember now. Yeah, we've gotten a lot of news this week. We got the teaser trailer for part 2 of Rebel Moon, which I don't know why that's needed. I'm about halfway through it right now, and I'm like, this is pretty shit. This is not good.
Yeah, I shut it off. I don't even get why it exists. It didn't need to exist. It's a movie
I think the story behind it, and Evan, if you know, you can correct Evan or Jagger, if you know, you can correct me if you're wrong. Is like Zack Snyder wanted to make a Star Wars movie, but then
Disney said no.
Yeah, Disney said no, so he took the story and made Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
So Rebel Moon was supposed to be a Star Wars movie, which looking at it now,
they didn't leave that stain on the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, with
Not
all
like
the
Star Wars doesn't have other stains.
Yeah, with all the other stains that are on there.
The entirety of the prequel trilogy is a stain.
And the sequels.
So true.
And the TV shows.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll wait for later in the episode to bring out my Star Wars hot take.
Yeah, I'll drop mine right now because it's related to Zack Snyder. I fucking hate Star Wars. Rebel Moon should have been right up my alley because I don't like Star Wars and I love Zack Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Empire Strikes Back is amazing. I think A New Hope is good. I don't like the prequels. Revenge
No,
of the
they're
Sith is
bad.
fun. Revenge of the Sith is fun. Force Awakens is better than A New Hope in my opinion. More,
Whoa.
maybe not better, but more fun because they're the same movie. They're the same movie.
They're the exact same movie.
But I would rather rewatch Force Awakens. Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker suck ass. They're terrible.
I
hate
like
both of
Last
them.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Like Last
That
I
doesn't
have-
surprise me.
Ah,
No, I have Last Jedi at 5 stars.
Oh, you really?
really?
Yeah,
Five?
that's my favorite Star Wars movie. And
Wow.
just because I think it's so fun, and I really respect the fact that Rian Johnson came in and tried to do something different.
The casino
with the
sequence is so
universe.
bad, though. It's
It's
so
bad, but like it's a 2.5-hour movie. There's other stuff in there besides that sequence.
Yeah,
that
visually
is an
it's good.
absolute blast.
Okay.
But I love Zack Snyder. I love all of his movies. I haven't seen The Legend of the Owl or whatever that movie's called, but I love Zack Snyder. So
Yeah.
a movie that was rejected by the Star Wars universe and is made by our father. Maybe the director's cut will be better. I haven't watched Rebel Moon yet because I want to wait for the director's cut. Watchmen is one of my favorite comic book movies ever made. I love 300. I love the Zack Snyder's Justice League. Even Batman vs.
Yeah,
Superman,
it's-
the
I mean-
Ultimate Edition,
Oh my god,
is
dude.
it's so good.
That's the best movie in the DCEU in my
So
opinion.
fucking good.
It's peak.
So
Um,
I'm reserving judgment on Rebel Moon until that director's
Yeah.
cut comes out.
yeah. So we got that teaser. I mean,
Oh wait, can we quickly talk about the trailer for Love Lies Bleeding, which looks like one of the best movies that's going to be coming out next year?
I haven't seen that one, but if you want to give us an overview, Jagger.
Okay, so it's sort of a movie that mixes like a 70s, 80s, like female bodybuilder story
Oh, I did see this trailer. Yeah, it
with
looks really good.
like a criminal sort of Coen brothers looking story. And it looks like it sort of meshes the two together.
Oh, is this the one with Kristen Stewart?
Yeah.
Yes. The A24.
It looks unbelievable. Now, Evan, you said you had seen it. Do you have any thoughts on how it looks? Because I know it looks like it's really not going to be for everyone.
It looks really cool. I thought the trailer showed too much,
Fair.
but
Fair.
I think it looks fun. I love Kristen Stewart. Oh.
Oh.
We lost Trey. I love Kristen Stewart. I think the visuals look sweet. Performances look good. The soundtrack was good so far. Like, I'm really excited for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. I don't know where he wants to go with that.
And Rose Glass is amazing. I love Saint Maud. So
I haven't seen Saint Maud.
it's really good. It's super twisted. It's fun. So I have a lot of faith in it because Saint Maud is sweet. It's only her second movie, and Saint Maud is awesome. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
fair.
seeing now that she also directed Saint Maud. I'm definitely excited as well, because I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, Saint Maud is a sweet ending. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Trey, you have that at 3 stars.
What?
Saint
No,
Maud,
I
you have it at-
don't.
you have Saint Maud at 3 stars.
Did I write a review for it?
Yeah, you did.
What does it say? Tell me. I don't remember.
Hold on, I have to find your review though. I just saw that you have it at 3 stars. Hold on. Wait, I see
Here.
a lot more reviews on top of it.
Let's see. Oh, my review is what the hell?
Wait, I'm trying.
I'm
trying to find it.
raising that up to a 4-star.
That's what I have it at. It's really fun.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
find it.
But yeah, so I trust Road Glass. The trailer was super cool, nice neon lighting, and really vibey.
Yeah.
There it is. Just found
Kristen
it.
Stewart's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, so we got new fucking hell, Trey. Evan, are you a Planet of the Apes guy? Do you like the Planet of
Yes,
the Apes?
I
movies?
love the trilogy.
Okay,
Matt Reeves cooked
okay.
so hard.
Yeah, I think it's one of the greatest trilogies of all time. We are getting continuous news about the new one, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
and it's this title says it sets up a new trilogy nearly 300 years after Caesar's end. So I'm very excited for that. Means more Planet of the Apes content.
I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I hadn't seen the trailer because I kind of didn't want to watch it, and then they played it before Poor Things, so I was like, oh, guess I'll watch it.
It looks dope.
It's hard to disconnect from Matt Reeves' universe that he made, so I'll reserve judgment on it till I see it. But I'm excited because I love the original trilogy. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's really damn good. I don't know. There hasn't been too much. Those are really the big ones that I wanted to touch on. If you guys have seen anything else that you would like to talk about.
I'm just on those short lists. They don't include like the big ones, like the big groups.
Yeah.
I just really want the like best actor to come out. I just want to see Willem Dafoe for Inside on that list.
That's... are popping the copium, brother.
Here's the thing. He gave a one-man performance that was better than 90% of the other performances this year. And he made a thoroughly entertaining movie that is pushing 2 hours by himself. And it was mostly improvised. It was an incredibly impressive performance.
Yeah. I can't really say anything about that because I haven't seen Inside. Evan, it sounds like you have. And
I haven't. I know what it is. I've seen the trailer. I love Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
I saw the reviews of it, and so I can't properly judge it. I've just seen what other people have said, and they all hover around that 3.5 range. So I do want to see it because I love Willem Dafoe, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The acting categories this year are just insanely stacked, so I think it's a tough one.
After seeing the holdovers, and this leads us into our 2023 releases for the day.
All right.
I don't think he's going to get it, but I would love it if Paul Giamatti won Best Actor.
Who's taking it from him?
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
It was a good movie. His performance was not one of the leading factors.
My brain. That's crazy to say. That is crazy to say. He is the movie.
I mean, most of the movies with zoom-ins on his face, or like a good chunk of his performance was involving zoom-ins of his face. Which, I mean, it's the same as saying that the kid from Come and See was the best part of that movie. Because, I mean, I will stand here and defend
you're
Come and
speaking
See.
Facts about Come and See right there, that the kid is the best performance and best part of it.
I will stand by Come and See until the day I die. I believe that it is one of the greatest films ever made. I wouldn't really call his performance acting, like good acting.
His acting was so good that he literally grew gray hairs from how stressful he was on that set.
I get that it was a stressful set. Crazy filming of that movie. But, I mean, how
his emotion and those pan-ins to his face are what sell the horror of that film.
That movie is just looks of shock and crying.
Yeah, but it only reinforces what the film is trying to say to you. Is that sense of horror, and instead of showing you, I mean, they show a lot of horror in that movie with cows getting blown up, burning down the barn, horrific scenes. But those pan-ins, and it's just a pure stone cold face who is so devoid of life. That
girl's one shot where it's her with the thing in her mouth and she's like crawling to him. That was more horrifying than a lot of what he did, and his performance felt. It was just like Zac Efron's in Iron Claw, which is another movie that I'm not going to defend. But it feels sort of similar, where it's just shock and
I can see Trey's face.
Okay, I'm gonna get in on this conversation because I need to defend my boy Cillian Murphy.
Please.
okay.
So Jagger, a movie that we consistently talk about being one of the greatest films ever made is from a director that we are working through right now, is The Shining.
Yep.
Now, can we both agree that a lot of the shots, almost half of the shots of Jack Nicholson, are the camera zooming in on his face? Or the camera zoomed in on his face? Can we agree about that?
Yes, but they use
Yes,
angles
okay.
and they use music to make them more haunting. If there was no
Exactly, and that's what Oppenheimer does. Now,
none of the Ric Flair, The Shining would have likely sucked. Okay. Okay.
We
I
lost
hear
Trey.
myself now, and I cannot hear you.
okay,
There we go.
God, I'm back.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. No, but does that mean that Jack Nicholson performances was bad?
I'm saying that the shots that weren't zoom-ins of his face, he gave a great performance. But I'm
And
saying
so
that
did Cillian Murphy.
if you rely on just the zoom-ins of Jack Nicholson's face in The Shining, which, I mean, you have probably 5 minutes worth, I would say that if it was just that, no, the movie would have been really, really bad. But it's those really zoomed out shots where it's him walking down the hallway, where it's not just zoom-ins of his face, which is something that Oppenheimer relies heavily on when it comes to Cillian Murphy's performance. See, if you said that Robert Downey Jr. was the best performance of Oppenheimer, I'd say absolutely. I would say that that was a very solid statement to make. But I would say that in Cillian Murphy's performance alone, Paul Giamatti clears it with miles in between them.
That's crazy.
That's
Cillian
wild.
Murphy has the ability to elicit so much emotion purely from his eyes. He has such distinctive eyes that you can sense
And
every bit of emotion coming from him without him saying a single word. So those close-ups are important because Oppenheimer is a movie about Oppenheimer. It's not about anything else. It's about him. That's why they use the black and white versus the color. That's why those close-ups are important, because the movie is about him. You got those criticisms about, oh, they didn't show the bombings in Japan. Like, you're not there for that. You're there for Oppenheimer's life. And every moment of that movie, like, I saw a tweet the other day that the runtime of Oppenheimer, an hour and 46 minutes of it or something like that, crazy, is only Cillian Murphy. Like, he's on screen for that much.
Okay.
He sells that movie just purely through he just sells it through himself, and that's what makes him such an incredible actor, and that's why he deserves the Oscar, because that movie is him.
Okay.
The supporting cast is crazy.
Let me say this. I'm not saying Paul Giamatti was bad. I saw The Holdovers 2 nights ago. It's my number 2 of the year. It's a Christmas movie that I guarantee you I will be watching year round.
Absolutely.
And Paul Giamatti was unbelievable in it.
Okay.
He gave an absolutely heartbreaking performance.
Okay.
But Cillian Murphy was just better. He was just better.
Like, this is the supporting category, but Dominic Sessa portrayed even like some incredible emotion for a first timer in a movie. Like, Paul Giamatti was amazing, but when you're trying to sell a movie based on very small, like, cast, like, not that Oppenheimer has a small cast, but like when you're focused in on a small group of characters, those performances sell the movie. And Oppenheimer is just Cillian Murphy's time to play. Like, he's there to just perform.
I never said Oppenheimer was bad, but I'm saying, did either of you cry while watching Oppenheimer because of Cillian Murphy's face?
Yes.
I cried during Oppenheimer, but I did not cry during The Holdovers.
What?
I've seen The Holdovers 3 times now. I love The Holdovers.
I teared up multiple times during that movie.
I love The Holdovers. No. This is
what part of Oppenheimer made you cry? I don't get
It's
that.
just those moments of pure sorrow in his eyes. Okay, also, I take some medication that makes it hard for me to cry sometimes, so I can't cry at movies as easy as I used to. Trey knows what's up. Trey knows what I'm talking about. But again, Holdovers is a beautifully heartfelt movie. It's got
Yes.
that Dead Poet Society feeling of love and life and
Mhm.
death and all of this in it. But
What a
Oppenheimer,
goated comparison.
it's Dead Poet Society. Like, they're different settings, but it has those vibes to a T.
Big time.
And that is not a, like, that's not a diss. That's not a, it's just, it recaptures that so perfectly. And I'd watched Dead Poet Society like 2 weeks before I saw The Holdovers, and I was like,
Yeah.
those are the vibes.
Yeah. But yeah, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Either Paul Giamatti or Cillian Murphy. I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be up for a leading. I think he'll be up for best supporting.
Yeah.
And I do think he should win that. But if either Paul Giamatti or Cillian Murphy wins, I'm going to be happy.
Evan, what do you think about the debate that I've heard on TikTok of Barry Keoghan going up for Best Actor?
Okay, so I want him to go because I love him and I love Saltburn and I love all of his movies. I need to pull up like the Oscar predictions to see who else would be like in contention.
Even possible that Barry Keoghan gets Best Actor.
He wouldn't win, but I would be beyond thrilled to see him because he was snubbed of an Oscar for Killing of the Sacred Deer, a nomination for Killing of the Sacred Deer.
Okay.
Oh,
and I will stand by that
one. Jagger can't really talk about it because Jagger, you still need to get into the rest of Yorgos's filmography.
So Bradley Cooper's amazing. I think Maestro is kind of overrated.
Yeah, I've heard it's very.
I haven't seen American Fiction yet, so I can't quote on that one. I see this movie Rustin pop up a lot in the contention for Best Actor. It's on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't talk about that. But I would love to see Barry Keoghan get nominated, just because I love him. I think that performance is amazing. It's just such a fun movie. It's ridiculous. It's over the top.
Yeah.
Is it too far out of left field to get like recognition at the Oscars?
I think that Poor Things and Saltburn are both in that category of they're out of left field and are in danger of being too out there for the Oscars, which is scary and sad because they're both amazing movies that.
Yeah.
And I know I know that Saltburn has issues. I recognize all of them. I think the ending is very spoon-fed and annoying, and if they cut out that scene, it would be an easily better movie.
Song's a banger though.
Not that scene, the scene before that.
Oh, okay.
The explanation scene. No, the explanation scene that goes on is I hate that scene. It's so spoon-fed. Emerald Fennell treats you like an idiot that doesn't understand a single thing that's going on in the movie.
Yeah, that's
but I still love Saltburn. I really do.
Yeah. And with that, I think let's get into our 2023 releases. So you guys both really enjoyed Saltburn. We try to do, for this, Evan, we try to do spoiler-free since they're new releases. So, what are your guys' spoiler-free thoughts? Would you recommend this to people out there?
Not the general viewer by any means. It's a movie that takes a lot of like knowledge about film to sort of break down until that final scene where, like he said, they do spoon feed it to you. But that aside, I think when you actually get down to the movie, that one scene aside, it is a really fun movie to try and figure out as it goes along. But it is highly obscene. It's really weird. But it's a lot of fun. It's quite funny. It's weird. It's really weird. Not the type of movie to watch with your grandparents either, for multiple reasons. But if you go into it with that sort of knowledge, like, it's going to be weird, but not as bad as everyone's saying on TikTok, because they're really hyping it up to be like this horrible movie. It's not that bad, but it's fun. Evan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I am on the opposite side where I think you should recommend this to other people. People blow it out of proportion like crazy that it's the most obscene movie of the year. Poor Things blows that out of the water. That's crazy. Saltburn is the first half of Saltburn is this super fun, energetic, there's lots of montages of fun summer and super rich people living their best lives. It's funny. It's super dark comedy. Like, you just see these obscenely rich people being douchebags, and
Yep.
that's all really fun. And then it gets into those twisted moments. And maybe if you were trying to get some people into weirder movies, this is a great one because it's funny and it's weird and it's got depending on how you feel, a satisfying ending. It's really, really just fun. The soundtrack is incredible. The performances are really fun. Everyone carries their weight. There's no lacking. Even people what's her name? The red-haired girl. She's only in a couple scenes.
Pam? What's
I gotta
her
pull
name,
it.
though? The actress.
She was in Promising Young Woman.
Oh,
Carrie Mulligan.
Yeah, her. She's only in a couple
Yeah.
scenes. She's
Carrie
really
Mulligan
funny.
is in it?
She's in it for a scene and a half. She's barely in it, but she's still really funny. This movie is just pure entertainment factor. I showed it to my girlfriend. She likes weird movies, but she had a super good time with it. I acknowledged, if you are trying to casually watch it, you'll probably have a great time. But it does have this weird ending where it really spoon feeds it to you, and the director kind of treats you like an idiot. And I have the film at a 4.5 right now. I would push it to a 5 in an instant without that explanation at the end because it's not needed.
Yeah.
I still love it. I've seen it a few times now. I watched it on unofficial sources before it came out because I missed it in the theaters, and then I watched it on Prime twice. I have it at... I'll have to pull it up, but it's pretty high in my 2023 rankings.
It says you have it at 5 stars.
Yeah,
Evan.
I might have. I raised it out of recency bias because I was having so much fun. But so it's sitting at 13 right now. It's probably around there. I would probably jingle it back and forth with Beau is Afraid. I really love Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
But yeah, Saltburn is just awesome.
Shout out Jagger's pajamas. His Beau is Afraid pajamas. I don't know if you saw those, Evan.
Oh, that's what that is. I was wondering. That's awesome. Yeah, so I really love Saltburn.
Yeah, go check it out, everybody. Streaming on Prime right now. And Poor Things you both saw this past week as well. You want to give your quick spoiler-free thoughts on those?
Yeah.
Talk about a satisfying ending. Wow. Yeah, you were saying.
Okay, so I'm a huge Yorgos Lanthimos fan. He is my probably tied for favorite director. So Yorgos also, I don't have a movie of his below, I think, a 4.5, maybe a 4. I have to check my Dogtooth rankings, but I love his twisted sense of humor. I love his really fucked up worlds. I love his super stoic dialogue that is really janky and weird, the way it's spoken. Poor Things does not have this weirdness in the dialogue. It's still written the same in that essence, but it's not spoken that way. Which, when the movie first kicked off, I was kind of sad about it. I'm not gonna lie, but Poor Things is a blast. It's long. It's like 2.5 hours long, but it blows by. It's kind of split into these different sections. It's got little intermission title cards for all the different areas. And they're beautiful. Just to touch on, this movie is stunning. The sky boxes are to die for. It's crazy how good this movie looks. And then the performances.
I've never admired fisheye lens shots.
Oh my god. The fisheye lens, he uses it a lot in this movie. It's crazy. It looks out of this world, and it fits every scene he uses it in so well. The performances from Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe, they're just hilarious. They're so good. Mark Ruffalo is fucking hysterical in this movie. I know there's a lot of Mark Ruffalo haters out there. I've never been one of them. He's hilarious in this movie. He's funny and weird and pathetic at points. It's awesome. Especially in the third act, he's just hysterical. This movie is so funny The Lobster has a lot of weirdly comedic moments. But this
Well,
movie
The
just
Lobster
blows.
is totally a comedy.
Oh, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
Killing of a Sacred Deer is pure drama. It's got those weird, awkward, funny moments, but The Lobster is a lot of jokes in
God,
it.
Lobster is so funny.
Yeah, Poor Things blows that out of the water comedy wise. It's hysterical. And it's a lot of like quick quips. Emma Stone is just dropping joke after joke. And it's not like intentional jokes, but she just drops these hilarious lines. I was in
Yeah.
the theater with two other people, and I don't know if they knew what they were getting into because they weren't laughing, and I was the only one laughing, and I felt like I was out of place because I was laughing really hard at times. But yeah, I love Poor Things. It's my number one movie of the year, which I'm not surprised by considering how much I love Yorgos Lanthimos. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome. What do you think, Jagger?
Oh my god. Like you said, there's a lot of like lines in this movies, and I would even say terms, like just weird terminologies that
Yeah,
don't
the way she
exist.
refers to sex it made me laugh every single time she said it.
Oh, furious jumping.
Yeah,
Whole
fuck, it's so funny.
Yeah, so I've got my own like interpretation on this movie that it is like it's a full thing. You can read my Letterboxd review if you want to hear it, but we'll save that after after you eventually do watch it. We'll do like a full episode on it because I feel like there's a lot to unpack with it.
Mm-hmm.
But spoiler-free thoughts. It's a masterpiece. In every sense of the word. I really only have one complaint, and it was like Trey, we've said it a million times on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Sex and nudity in a movie is not an issue.
Yeah.
But I feel like even though they were really proving their point with it, and I think that for a good chunk of the movie, it was not a problem at all. But during the Paris segment, it started to feel like a little gratuitous. Like,
Interesting.
like, here's the thing. It's a huge part of Bella Baxter as a character. But they were trying to make a lot of jokes with it at one point. And I get that when it goes back to Rami Youssef and Willem Dafoe, in between both of the two storylines going on, between Bella's story and Rami and Willem's story, Bella's eventual sex life, you could say, becomes a huge part of the story. But I think that it just started to feel like they were milking that cow dry and continuing to attempt.
That's really interesting because I think that Paris is arguably the most important part of her sex life because I won't even get into my point because I want to save that for a spoiler discussion. But yeah,
and it's an incredibly important segment. Don't get me wrong, but I think they could have cut like 5 minutes off of it, 5-10 minutes off of it, in between there, because it was a long segment. It was like a 45-minute segment, the Paris thing alone. And I think if they had cut like 5 minutes off of it, I would say it's a perfect film. I have it a 99 out of 100 now. If I rewatch it, I feel like there's enough good in it to just push it to that point. But that aside, I believe that there is not a single flaw. I think the cinematography is beautiful. The visual effects, like actual VFX done in post, are beautiful. Like you said, the skybox is absolutely wonderful.
And Willem Dafoe's makeup is awesome.
Willem Dafoe's makeup, it was 4 hours to put it on, 2 hours to take it off every day. And that's the grind. And Willem Dafoe is, in my mind, the greatest character actor ever. And I feel like there is so much utter perfection in the script, cinematography, performances, narrative. The way that they twisted the Frankenstein narrative, as he put it, and the way that they took the book, and I have not read the book, but hearing what people who have read the book have said, he changed certain things that were flaws in the book and like sort of ironed them out for the movie. And I really respect that. That's the same reason I love The Shining. The Shining is a movie that stays not totally faithful to the book.
Oh, it's like complete opposite.
Stephen King hates the movie.
He hates it. So I think that I really respect that, and I respect everything about this movie, and I cannot wait for a spoiler discussion.
Yeah, me too. Trey, you got to see it.
I know. Yeah.
What about you, Trey?
So,
Did you see any 2023 releases
yeah,
recently?
I'll touch on these real quick since we're having great conversation, but we haven't even gotten to our IMDb movie, and we are currently 47 minutes in. So I'll just touch on the ones I watched real quick. I watched May December, which
What you think of that? I feel like we could even go into more discussion.
Obviously that's a true story.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And I had no prior knowledge of the story. I was told just to go in blind by my brother. I think if you have prior interest and were compelled, I don't want to say but were compelled by this story when it happened, I think that you're going to enjoy this one. For me personally, I had never heard of it before, and I was like, okay. The story was fine. I felt like it was really, really slow at some points. I agree with you, Jagger. I have no idea what this is doing in Best Picture, Comedy, or Musical at the Oscars. This movie is extremely uncomfortable, and it's toxic, and it's oddly terrifying.
The funniest line of May December is right at the beginning when Julianne Moore goes, I don't think we have enough hot dogs, and it goes, go, go, like the big operatic score.
Yeah. I think this is debatably Julianne Moore's best performance in her career.
Really?
Oh, really?
So have you...
I've seen Boogie Nights.
How about Still Alice?
Have you seen
it?
Still Alice. I've seen The Big Lebowski. I've seen all of her big ones that she's known for.
What about Magnolia? She's really good in Magnolia.
Magnolia, she is excellent. But I think the way she was able, I have never seen her change so much from how she is as a person to get into a character. I thought she was absolutely terrifying as, what's her character's name? Gracie. I thought she was terrifying. The one line that I will use to point that out is, because you guys have both seen it, correct?
Yeah.
The one line I'll use to point that out is the who was in charge.
Yeah.
Oh my, that whole
Disgusting.
scene, I was just like, what the fuck is happening? I thought Natalie Portman was good. I didn't think she was amazing.
Her monologue at the end is out of this world, though.
Oh, yeah. But I didn't think she was bad. Also, Charles Melton was excellent at playing an awkward man-child.
The scene when he's on the roof with his son is one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah, he was
so
excellent.
well acted and well written.
But out of that stuff, I thought it was fine. Yeah. I am interested in watching. That was my first Todd Haynes movie.
Oh yeah.
So I'm interested in watching. Well, I have I'm Not There on my watch list. That's been on my watch list for a long time.
That's really weird and good.
But I am interested in watching Carol and Dark Waters, which I've heard good
Dark
things
Waters
about
is awesome.
both of those. And then, as I said, Christmas Eve, I went and saw The Holdovers, which was my first watch of that. I think this is Alexander Payne's masterpiece.
Really?
Yeah, I think the only thing... Oh, God, sorry, guys. My microphone is doing that thing again.
I agree, but I think Election
that
is...
Jagger, I think you might have over it is Election. Am I correct about that?
No, I have Holdovers over Election, but I think Election's really, pushing it close.
Yeah. I think that this movie was masterful. I think it was so simple. Mm-hmm. I think that it was but it was also so elegant and so well done. And it was such a beautiful story. And he balanced 3 different tones, and he balanced them so well.
I really want to see Divine Joy Randolph at supporting actress at the Oscars.
Oh yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah.
But I definitely have Election right behind this.
Yeah.
But I think this is a perfect Christmas film. I think this captures like the feel of the holiday season like no other film I've seen.
Yeah.
And I just loved it so much. I was
It's
so
really good.
happy that it lived up because I had such huge expectations going into it, just hearing from everybody how good it is. And I was like, maybe my expectations are too high. And then I watched it and I was like, oh no, they were not high enough. This
Yeah.
was
Is it going to
excellent.
crack your top 100 though?
I think so. When I redo my list, I think it definitely will.
The Holdovers is amazing.
Yeah.
I watched it by myself and then I showed it to my girlfriend and she said, "This is my favorite Christmas movie of all time."
Oh, it's mine too.
And I was like,
Easily.
holy shit. Like,
Easily.
that opening scene when Silver Joy comes on is just so, like, it just puts you at peace. Like, this movie is so fucking cozy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
Alexander
really
Payne
funny.
he has a very specific sense of humor that I just like I can't get enough of.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of his
Like
other movies.
oh, well, you should definitely watch Election.
So
Matt,
funny.
God, that movie is so funny. But where he's talking to the like headmaster, Dr. Woodrup,
Yeah.
and he's like, Dr. Woodrup, you are the human embodiment of penis cancer. I was dying. I was laughing so hard.
The
So
fact
yeah,
that he
that-
called this kid a troglodyte too. Just the
Yes.
use of words.
Crazy.
The word choice
crazy
is
that
brilliant.
that did not get the movie canceled by a bunch of people. It's
And,
just
like,
like
I'll never get over him just giving every single person he meets Marcus Aurelius's meditation. It's so
that
fucking
was so funny.
It's so
Oh,
funny.
and the shot at the end where it's the book full of them.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I kept seeing
Um,
tweets and it was like, my family's not ready for what they're about to get hit by. And it's just a stack of the copy of books.
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, those were the only two I saw this week. But let's get in today.
I
is
did
Tuesday.
watch-
Oh, go ahead.
Let me touch on Thanksgiving really quick. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys have seen this or talked about it.
No, we haven't.
It's a blast. So I'm kind of conflicted on Eli Roth. I like Hostel movies because they're, if you're in that movie for like mood for Saw
Yeah.
or something like that, Hostel's the same thing. It's that torture porn. It's really fucked up. Hostel's not very good, but it's
No, it's not.
It's fine. There's some cool kills. There's some really gross stuff. Like the first movie is the scene where this guy gets his Achilles tendons cut.
Dude, I've
It's
seen
awful.
that.
I hate that scene
I've
so
seen
much.
Hostel. It's
Yeah.
absolutely
That
rancid.
scene is painful. He's like, "Oh, you're free to go," and he stands up, and there's just a shot of his heel splitting open. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of split. I hate the Green Inferno. I think the first half is painfully boring. That movie is so weird, and it's just boring.
The thing I hate about Green Inferno, if I may just touch in,
Yeah, go for it.
I've seen Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, same.
And I feel like number one, weird enough that Eli Roth liked that movie enough to make his own version of it.
I mean, it's a good movie.
I mean, it's a decent movie, really interesting for what it tried to do, but the fact that Eli Roth saw it and immediately went to do it himself, I hate when a director does that, because it's sort of like, and I know it's been done, it's been said a million times, when you look at Saltburn, you can say the debate of Emerald Fennell saw someone use this aspect ratio, so therefore she went and did it
Yeah,
herself.
everyone also says that it's a ripoff of Talented Mr. Ripley, which I have not seen, so I can't comment on that, but everyone says that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's sort of that same thing where it's like he saw Cannibal Holocaust and said, I can do that,
Yeah.
and he didn't do that. So I don't know. That's
Yeah.
not for me.
Okay. Yeah, Green Inferno, it has some cool kills. I'm kind of split on Eli Roth. Like, as an actor, he's hilarious. He's hysterical in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
But Thanksgiving is really fun. The first scene is this Black Friday massacre of just the stampede of people. It's hilarious, super well shot. The movie is really good. I think it touches on the characters and the backstories a little too long, like 10 minutes maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I have it at a 4-star. The kills are amazing. The kills are so good. I would highly recommend it. It's out on VOD right now to rent. It's out there.
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend it. It's a really fun movie, and yeah, so that it was really good. And Addison Rae is in it. I thought I would hate Addison Rae, but she was good. Honestly,
Yeah, she's nice to
it's
look
actually a
at
good time.
too.
I'd really recommend it. It's a fun time. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's all I want to say. It's a fun time.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Yeah. So as people know, it is Tuesday, obviously. And so it is time for our next movie in our IMDB series. And that is number 219, I want to say. I don't know. I can't remember what number it is for us. But
We've
we will
been
be
cutting through it. Wow.
Yeah, man, we're flying. Oh no, it's number 220. No, yes, number 220. I was right. Yeah, number 220. Richard Linklater's second installment in the Before trilogy, Before Sunset. This film stars our two main actors. They are the only ones I believe of recognition that I want to shout out. Which is obviously the great Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, this was my first experience with her as an actress. Quite enjoyable, by the way. She is excellent. This movie was released in 2004 with an IMDb of, I believe, 8.1. We're still in the 8.1s. Movie before this, obviously we'll touch on, since this is the second one in the trilogy. We will be giving that movie a full review later in our IMDb series because it's higher up on the list. But this is the one we're touching on today. Before Sunset. 9 years ago, two strangers met by chance and spent a night in Vienna that ended before sunrise. They are about to meet for the first time since. Now they have one afternoon to find out if they belong together. So let's give our opening thoughts. Jagger, I'm gonna shoot it over to you first, and then Evan, you could follow him up.
Okay, we're talking about Before Sunset currently.
Yeah. Yep.
So Before Sunrise is my favorite, or maybe like in top 3 romance movies. I love this movie. It's much lower on my top 100, though. I don't love it as much as I do Before Sunrise. But that aside, I do love it. I think that it captures the gold that is the incredible dialogue and the raw dialogue of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it starts with the realization that they did not go through with the 6-month plan at the end of the movie gives it this feeling of, oh, this could be real. This could have been a real story. And I think that's where the Before trilogy shines. The aspect of it could happen. And I think that that's what's beautiful about a lot of Richard Linklater's movies, is the complete possibility and raw realness of them. And I love that. But I'll pass it over to Evan to see your
Yeah, I'll try and keep this brief because this is my favorite romance movie ever made, and it has my favorite ending to a movie ever. So I will give some brief thoughts, and then we'll pass it over to Trey, and then we'll do a more depth conversation. Yeah. I adore this movie. Every single scene is so genuine. That's the thing about these Before movies that I love so much, is how genuine they feel, and a big part of that is how the dialogue is really improvised and also written by Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. It's just so fun, and it's full of those kind of realizations that Jagger was talking about. And are we going spoilers on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you get that scene where Ethan Hawke lies about going to the train station. He's like, oh no, I never went. And then he's like, oh, I did go. And you just have these moments where you realize, oh, Ethan Hawke was that dumb romantic at first, but yet they still manage to connect. And the fact that this movie's kind of set in real time instead of before sunrise, where it's over the entire night. This movie's set over like an hour and a half instead
Yeah.
of that night. Really adds to that feeling of how much connection they have to each other, how much chemistry is still there even after 9 years. They immediately fall back in love, and that's it. And you have that amazing boat scene. Like this movie is just so full of happiness and love, and it just culminates in such an incredible ending. I was rewatching the ending before we did this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll touch on it later, but yeah, I just love this movie. It makes me so happy. It's just so perfect. Yeah. So I'll leave it at that, and then we'll get deeper into it.
Yeah, this is my first experience with this trilogy. I woke up this morning. I watched before sunrise. I loved it. And then I took a little nap and watched before sunset. And I loved it even more. I think before sunrise I gave a 4.5. Before sunset I gave a 5. I think it's excellent. I'm going to touch on something that you guys have both touched on, is the rawness and the realism of the dialogue. It really just feels like you have a camera following two people, and you're just watching them go through their day-to-day life, which I find very, very interesting, and I think that's a very hard thing to obtain for a lot of films. Obviously, Julie Delpy, is that her name? Julie Delpy?
Yeah.
It's Delpy or Depley. It's one of those two.
Yeah. And Ethan Hawke, they obviously have like unbelievable chemistry together. And what's interesting is that you see like these two characters in the first one, where Jesse is more of the cynic, and especially you see it with the interaction after the lady reads palms, like the palm reader.
And even the poet too.
Yeah, and Celine is definitely more of the romantic. And then I feel like it kind of switches in this next one, where Jesse ends up being more romantic and Celine ends up being more of the cynic, which I find very interesting. And I don't think that it felt weird to do that, like change the fundamental views of the characters that we were already familiar with. I think Richard Linklater did a really good job at it, by explaining like some of the backstories they have and how it affected their views on life, specifically in those two areas. But yeah, I thought this was excellent. I think the cinematography is beautiful. I think Ethan Hawke is the shining star here. I mean, he's really the shining star in any movie he's in, because he's amazing. And yeah, I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yeah, I think what you said about how they switch, and you talk about like Celine becoming more cynical while she's working. I think for the UN, I don't remember. I didn't get a chance to rewatch
She's working like
this.
for like an environmental.
So she kind of
group.
gets that feeling of what life can be and how fucked up it is, and you know, she kind of gets that realization of nothing is really lovey-dovey perfect.
Yeah, because there's even like a conversation that they're both having on the bus in the first one, where Ethan Hawke asks her like, do you believe in reincarnation? Do you believe in eternal souls and all that stuff? And she says yes. And then he asks her the same question in this one. Like they both forgot they had that conversation, and she says no, definitely not. Yeah. And it's just it's such an interesting look at how her job has affected the way she views things, exactly like you said.
Yeah, and then you have Ethan Hawke, who has literally written a book about the most incredible night in his entire life, in hopes of finding that love again. And he is his entire life has been changed by this one night, and his whole mission in life is to rediscover that.
Yep.
And he kind of plays it off as it's just like a book I wrote, but deep down it's that search for Celine all along.
Yep. Yeah. So I want to do our 4 questions that I don't know if we did. I don't think we did them for Rush. Evan?
You told them to me, but I didn't answer all of them.
Yeah, because you hadn't seen Rush in a while.
Yeah.
So we're going to do those for this movie to kind of guide our conversation.
Yeah.
First one, most rewatchable scene. Jagger, why don't you go ahead first?
Most rewatchable scene? I'll go with the ending. I feel like again, I'll go back to this with Before Sunrise. It made me tear up out of joy. Just like the happiness that was the ending of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Evan, what about you? What's the most rewatchable scene for you?
I'm going to gush for a moment because Before Sunset has my favorite movie ending of all time. So clearly that's my pick. I love the boat scene. I think it's so fun. And it's kind of, Celine's really against it at first, and Ethan Hawke's kind of on that spontaneous moment. But the ending with the ballad is so beautiful. It makes me cry every time I watch it.
Yeah.
You have Celine being a little sheltered for a good chunk of the movie, and then you realize, she didn't write a book. She wrote this song for Jesse. And it's so beautiful.
God, this movie, man.
This fucking amazing scene where they put Nina Simone on and Celine is just talking about how awesome she was to see in concert. And she says, "Oh, baby, you're going to miss that flight." And Ethan Hawke looks back and he's got this fucking amazing smirk on his face. And he goes, "I know." And then it just ends. Like, I legit want to get those words tattooed on me because it just makes you. I have fucking goosebumps right now just talking about it. It's such an amazing ending.
Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect. But the most rewatchable scene for me, and I will preface this by saying a lot of the enjoyment and how I rate a romance film is how much I relate to it.
Right.
Like looking at personal relationships I've had in my life and how much I can relate to it. And that's where I get a lot of my emotional reactions during films, especially when I cry, is either relating to it or connecting with it somehow. That's where a lot of my emotional reaction comes from. So the scene where he talks about having dreams about her and waking up, like we're there together and they're happy, and then he wakes up sobbing. I was like, duh, been there, brother. God. And that whole scene where she gets like frustrated at him for telling her that. Yeah. Because she's like, now you're doing it again. I'm falling in love with you again. Oh my God, dude. It's just, it's so damn good. But that ending as well. I mean, it's so good. So Evan, I'll kick this question to you first. Who won this movie? So if this movie like won an award, what would it win?
Okay, so as a preface, the first movie did not have writing credits for Ethan Hawke or Julie Delpy, even though most of the dialogue was improvised by the two of them. I think, and both of them got writing credits on the second one. I think that's it. Like, I can't pick one between the two performances. They're both out of this world incredible. The writing, the fact that they both wrote that, that's what I would pick. Like, it's so fucking perfect. And a scene I wanted to touch on, it's in Sunrise, not Sunset. And I'll, if I get invited back for the Sunrise review, the graveyard scene. Like, Julie Delpy is telling this beautiful story about a random fucking kid that died in a river. And you have such an intimate moment that was... It probably wasn't written by Richard Linklater. He's an incredible director and writer, but Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy are the reason these movies are as good as they are, is those conversations that just came naturally from how good their chemistry is. Like, that's my pick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
has
couldn't
to be the
agree more.
writing. Yeah.
Jagger, what about you? What wins for you?
I think the duo of Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy together are the base and every layer above it.
Mm-hmm.
They are this whole movie.
Yeah. I think that it's Ethan Hawke for me, his performance. I think this is my second favorite performance from him. I don't see anything except Training Day, which I have yet to see.
Oh.
I don't see anything but Training Day taking over his performance in First Reformed for me. I mean, he's just
That movie's it's
God.
incredible.
Dude,
So
we'll have a full episode on that movie, and we'll just do a Paul Schrader episode.
Yeah, dude,
and
I
just
love
talk
Paul
about
Schrader.
fucking peak films.
Oh, have either of you seen Mishima: A Life in 4 Chapters?
I haven't seen it, but I really
No,
want to.
I've heard of
I've
it.
seen almost all of his other movies though.
It looks really good. I might just watch that.
They
later.
did a
I don't
watch
know.
party for it in the Discord tray, and every single person gave it like a 4.5 or up.
That's
Really?
sick. Is it a Paul Schrader one?
Yeah, he wrote and directed
Oh
it.
yeah,
It's his magnum opus.
and the card counter is
Yeah, I've
super
seen that.
underrated.
Yeah.
I really still need to see Master Gardener. We're going down a rabbit hole.
Going down a Paul Schrader rabbit hole.
I think this is his best performance, right behind First Reformed.
Yeah.
For me. Or honestly, the Black Phone. He's so good in the Black
Yeah,
Phone.
that's really great.
But yeah, Ethan Hawke wins this for me. Does this movie belong in the IMDb top 250?
All three of them do. All three of them.
Yes. I can't say anything about Before Midnight because I have yet to watch it, but the first two, definitely 100%. Evan,
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're going to say yeah.
me and Trey were chatting before we started recording about, and I said I thought I had Before Midnight or 4.5. It's a 5. Like,
Yeah.
this trilogy is so fucking amazing in its rise and fall. Like before, I don't know if you've seen Before Midnight, Jagger, but
I have.
you weren't here for this, but I put off watching Before Midnight for like 3 or 4 months because I knew what was in it, and I didn't want to see Jess and Celine enter even an ounce of conflict outside of what they already saw. Like, Before Sunset absolutely belongs there. I'm kind of sad that it's this low down at 220 or whatever it is. It's 100% there.
I'll rewatch the trilogy at some point, just all the way through rewatch it. But I believe all three of them, from what I remember, belong there.
Now, our final question, our favorite question. Do either of our main characters beat Jack Torrance in a fight?
With the power of love, they do. No.
Probably not. Maybe
No.
Celine. Celine would have a chance just because she's got that the earth is fucked rage behind her.
It's definitely that's definitely a possibility.
If Jack Torrance came up to her and he was like, "Oh, I love mining oil and I hate global warming. It's not real," then yeah, maybe Celine had a chance, but
yeah,
probably not.
So, yes, Before Sunset. It's not streaming anywhere. You can rent it most places.
If you are in Canada, it's on Crave.
There you go.
Even better question. Why are you not just buying the Criterion box set with all three of them so you can watch them?
Because it costs $150 where I live.
Good point, but worth it? Maybe.
It's probably worth it.
Up to you.
But yeah, let's get in to our final segment of the show. I'm going to kick it to Jagger first. Jagger, what have you been watching?
So I'm going to go from where we left off with Brett's movies and just really rapid fire it, because you're going to see a lot of
Wait, but we did an episode, but we didn't talk about it on Friday.
Yeah. So I'm just going to rapid fire it because there's a lot of repetition. Whiplash, I gave 5 stars for the first time. I had it at 4.5 for a while, but I gave it 5 because
You woke up.
it's incredible. Chungking Express 5.
Yep.
W.
Grease 5. Um, I love Grease. Chungking Express again 5. That's 2 days, 2 Chungking Express watches. Then Jingle All the Way 4.5. One of my favorite Christmas movies. Then Fallen Angels 5, and then I went back to back again with Chungking Express 5
Damn.
again. Then I watched Gummo, and I had that at 4.5, but I pushed it up to a 5 because
Oh,
of
yeah.
how much I just love that movie.
I've heard things about that movie.
I watched
not good things, not bad things.
I haven't
just
seen it.
things.
Just things. Frequently in the most fucked up movies ever made lists.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But all right. Then I watched. I went back into Nightbreed and made a review that was basically just an ad for our episode. Then I watched Chungking Express again, 5 stars. Then I watched the SpongeBob Christmas special and gave that a 4.5. That's just a lot of nostalgia for me. I rewatched Disaster Artist 4.5 because I absolutely adore that movie. Then I watched the new South Park Paramount Plus special, Not Suitable for Children, and gave it 1.5. I think that South Park might be losing its touch. I really hope not, but it's not out of the range of possibility. Then I watched The Killing, 2 stars. Poor Things, 5. Iron Claw, 3. Oh Hello on Broadway, 5. Saltburn for the first time, 4. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, 3. Polar Express, 4.5. The Ref, 4.5. Anatomy of a Fall, 4.5. And then rewatch of Saltburn this morning, 4.
Yeah. All right, Evan, you want to I'm going back to the 23rd.
Yeah, I'm going from the 20th. I don't have a lot of logs this week. I'm just going from when we last did our episode. I don't have a lot, so it'll be quick.
Yeah.
I'll save my first watch for the end because I want to talk about it. I rewatched The Lobster, 4.5. Love it. It's not quite as good. I had it at a 5. I dropped it a little bit. I do really love it. I think the second half is not quite as good as the first half, but it's still fucking awesome. Poor Things, 5. I watched the 1975 at their very best live from Madison Square Garden concert video on Prime. Fucking love it. Love that band. So fucking good. Watch Poor Things, perfect 5 with a heart. Thanksgiving, gave it a 4. I rewatched Who Killed Santa, a Murderville mystery on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen Murderville. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I've watched some of it.
The Who Killed Santa is hilarious. I watched Elf, 5 with a heart. Christmas Story is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I've seen it every single year since I was born. It's perfect. It's fucking awesome. I love it. Also, I watched Dead Silence. Slightly under the influence with many other people. I gave that a 4 just because of how hard I was laughing with other people. I've seen this movie before. It used to be a 1.5. I don't think it's very good, but it was really fun to watch with other people, so gets a 4. Yeah. My first watch I will briefly talk about. It's called Satan Tango. It's on the Letterboxd 250, which is the only reason I watched it. It's over 7 hours long. It's a Hungarian black and white movie, and it fucking sucks. It is painfully boring. Every single scene is blown out of proportion by how long the shots are. There's probably an hour in this movie of just people walking down roads with zero dialogue, walking away from the camera toward the camera. It's I find that what's his name?
Wait, where did you watch it?
It's on the Internet Archive. Like if you just Google Santa and Tango full movie, it's on the Internet Archive. You can watch it there.
Because what you're describing sounds amazing. So
it's really, really not good. Bellatar made this movie. It could have been 2.5, 3 hours max. The things at the first hour is really, really interesting, and then it devolves into this act with a doctor who needs more brandy. So there's about 45 minutes where he's walking to go get some more. It's really boring. I think that this guy was overindulging a lot, and a lot of these scenes are too long for their own good. I watched this over 2 days because I frankly got so uninterested by it that I had to turn it off. So shout out Oscar, who gives this a 4.5 out of 5, and I think is glazing this movie way too hard.
I think Oscar is too smart for his own good.
his review was, "This is really good, but I'm not smart enough to give any single type of analysis on it."
Yeah.
I genuinely only watched this because it was in the Letterboxd top 250, and I've been going through it. I will never watch it again. I won't recommend it to people unless they're trying to go through the top 250. I think it's painfully boring. It drags. It's just long for the sake of being long. Like, I know War and Peace, the Napoleon movie, is the same length as this, maybe longer. I've heard that's amazing. It probably is, but this is just long for the sake of being long. So yeah, I gave it a 1 star.
All
And
right.
that's my last week.
All right. I guess I'll go to the 20th as well. We're going to do speed round because I'm always the one who has the most watched. Watch The Autopsy of Jane Doe with Emile Hirsch and Brian Cox. Really
So
good.
So
Really
fucking
good. I watched Blue Valentine for the first time. Ryan Gosling, debatably his best performance. It was a solid film. I watched George Melise's Trip to the Moon. Classic, revolutionary, really interesting.
So good. So good.
Watched Robert Zemeckis' A Christmas Carol. Horrifying, but not as bad as I remember. I watched Shattered with Cameron Monaghan and John Malkovich. That really fucking sucked. There were some boobies in it, which was nice, I guess, but couldn't save the movie. I watched Animal Kingdom with Ben Mendelsohn. That was peak. Love Ben Mendelsohn. Finally, I guess I hadn't logged it from a few weeks ago, but I had watched 8th Grade.
It's really good.
Really, really solid coming of age film. Polar Express, 4.5. X-Men Origins Wolverine, 3.5. I just eat up anything with Hugh Jackman as Lord of the Ring. It obviously has massive issues as far as continuity goes and just wild stuff. I just don't think of a part of it as part of the X-Men universe because it's just like everything about that movie, it's all continuity errors. It's ridiculous. But I did enjoy it. I watched We're All Going to the World's Fair for the first time.
I really want to see that.
God, it's fucking amazing. 5 stars. My review was an absolutely haunting look into the teen psyche when exposed to loneliness and isolation. Just an unbelievable experience from beginning to end. Really
Absolutely
good.
wild that movie is.
Yeah. I watched The Night Before for the first time.
Super fun.
Loved it. Fun time. All my favorite people. Seth Rogen tripping on shrooms is one of the most accurate depictions I have found of tripping on shrooms in cinema. Watched The Killing for the first time. 4.5 stars. Watched Paths of Glory. 5 stars. Watched Better Watch Out. Wow, what a wild movie that was. 4 stars. I watched True Story for the first time with James Franco and not Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill. That was pretty solid, 3.5. I rewatched Night Before with my dad, 4.5. I gotta take a breath. Watched Crawl for the first time. That was solid.
I own that. I really gotta watch it.
It's really cheesy, but it's a fun time. I watched Being Charlie, a Rob Reiner film with Nick Robinson. That was really good. Carrie Elwes is also in it. I watched Trial of the Chicago 7 for the first time, written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. Fucking unbelievable.
Aaron Sorkin's just the fucking goat.
Dude, he really knows how to write a script. Holdovers, I already talked about. Rewatch Bridge to Terabithia for the first time since I was like 8 or 9. Fucking sobbed. Home Alone, I watched on Christmas Day. Which was yesterday. 4.5 stars. Goat Christmas movie. Watched Paranormal Activity 4, which I already told you guys about. Pretty terrible. Especially since I enjoyed the other ones. It's pretty bad. And then right before we recorded today, I watched Ma with Octavia Spencer, made by the same guy who did The Help. Ma is terrible. Don't watch it. There's no reason to watch that movie. It's absolutely.
The trailer of that movie freaked me out when it first came out.
Well, how old were you when that first came out? You were like 8 when that came out, Jagger.
Yeah.
God, that makes me feel old.
Same.
I was in high school when that trailer came out.
I was in university. Almost
Oh
done
my
university.
gosh!
I was almost done university.
That's crazy. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. Best ones were probably Night Before. We're all going to the World's Fair. And Trilogy Chicago 7. Go check out all of those. Those are all streaming somewhere.
I heard you don't like the Paranormal Activity movies, Jagger.
Oh, I hate them. I find them to be really, really boring.
Even the first three?
The first one almost put me to sleep. And then when
But
it
he
ended,
loves Skinamarink.
Yeah.
Okay, I like Skinamarink, but that's crazy because
When the credits to Paranormal Activity rolled, I had been told it was scary, and I was so disappointed that I just walked away from the television. I was
what
mad.
about the third one? The third one is great.
Is that the one that happens in the past?
It's the kids, the two kids.
Yeah, dude, that's the
that one's-
scariest one.
That's my favorite one. It's such a banger.
It's so good.
Is it decent? Well, then maybe I'll give it a
No,
shot.
it's really good. It's
Yeah,
got
it's
that
like a prequel.
80s vibe to it,
Mhm.
and it's it's actually really good.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you after watching that one.
Because if you got to watch the second, because the 4 Paranormal Activities, it's the same characters. So you got to watch the second one, and then
I still really like the second one. It's got a
second one is I enjoy as well. That has some jump scares in it that got me.
Yeah, first 3 are really good.
And
I
then
don't
the
know-
third one, the fourth
Yeah.
one, you don't need to. I mean, you
Fourth
can
one's
if you
really
want. If
boring.
the ends of two and 3 intrigue you, you can watch the fourth one.
Wait,
But it's not necessary.
the director of the third one is the same director of Catfish?
I think so.
Well, then you can count me in. I love Catfish.
Trey, have
Yeah.
you seen Next of Kin?
No.
The most recent one?
Oh no, I've only seen 1 through 4. I've never seen any of the extended universe
So
ones.
you should check out Next of Kin. It's the most recent one. It's not connected to the other ones. It's set on an Amish farm. I
Is
think
it
it's on
scary?
Prime. It's actually not bad. I liked it,
Okay.
and I really don't like 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, but actually, I think Next of
4,
Kin is not bad.
The thing with 4 is I like the storyline about Hunter and
Yeah.
Katie, but there just wasn't enough of it.
Yeah,
But
and
dude,
then
Hunter or Robbie,
Yeah.
holy fuck, dude. That kid was terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh.
The end of 4 is really weird, and then I think they really they sold it so hard because I saw 4 in the theaters, and the trailer for 4 had so much of the front door open shit, with the home security stuff.
Oh yeah, if they would, I wish they would have utilized that more.
Same, because they sold the trailer on that. So
Yeah, but yeah, Evan, thank you for coming back on today.
thank you for
We will
having me.
definitely have you again on in the future. We love having you on here.
that was super fun.
Everybody, if you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment. What stuff have you been watching recently, and what your thoughts are on the Before trilogy? And we love to hear from you guys. If you're on Spotify, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean there's Apple Podcasts and Amazon. If you're listening to us, hit that follow button. Leave us a review, please. It definitely helps us figure out what we need to do better on. Let me think. Socials. I'm Trey the Film Noob everywhere. I'm thinking about starting to stream on Twitch, so be on the lookout for that. Just playing movie games and talking about movies is what I will possibly be doing there. Also, follow me on my TikTok. I'm like 2 followers away from 500 followers. So follow me on there. Jagger is Jagger Film Fan on Letterboxd, Jagger the Movie Guy on Instagram and Twitch, and Jagger Film Reviews on TikTok and Twitter. Evan is Evan O. Is it 567?
Yeah, 5.
Evan O 567 on Letterboxd. If you want to follow him, go check out his profile. He has basically every Barbie movie at a 5-star.
Yeah.
Shout out to that. That's
But
true.
join us again on Friday where me and Jagger We'll be reviewing Lolita and Spartacus, our next two films in our Stanley Kubrick watch through. And then next Tuesday, where we will be reviewing. Oh, what are we doing next Tuesday? Let me find it real quick. Stay with me. We will be reviewing. Wait. Oh, we're doing Before Sunrise soon. We will be reviewing the film Jar Beam next Tuesday.
Is that whatever it is?
Whatever it is.
Beam.
Some Indian film. But looking forward to that. Looks good. So we'll be reviewing that next Tuesday. So join us back for that. Thank you for coming on The Average Film Enjoyer today. Spend some time with your family this week. Watch a good film. And let us know what you watch.
Come back to us on Friday for more Stanley Kubrick.
Yes. Again, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.